Hello and welcome to another session of Karen's Colours. I'm Dr. Karen and these are my colour conversations. The time has come for another monthly reading for all of you according to your birthday month. And this month I'm going to be working with the Healing Energy Oracle. This one is an oracle created by Duguay. He's an author and artist from Uruguay, I believe. Very interesting cards. But firstly, I'd like to welcome back those of you who have been following this series of videos. I certainly hope that you've learned a lot about how colour can influence your life and also how it has the ability to create all sorts of guidance as to how you can react and respond to the various issues that you are faced with throughout each month. I'm coming to you today from a very cold and chilly Australia. And so if I have to stop every now and then just to warm up, please excuse that. If you're new to this channel, you're very, very welcome to stay and learn something that you perhaps have not been exposed to before. I certainly hope that it is something that you will find of interest and maybe even come back. And if you are really interested, just hit that subscribe button. It doesn't hurt to have more people than my 35 subscribers hanging around. All right, so let's begin. Well, let's now look at an oracle card for people born in the month of November to tie in the story of how their August will develop. Whoops, I won't have that one because I've seen it, and that's not the point. The point is that we keep it a secret till the end. Okay. A card for November-born people to describe their reading. And we'll pop it under here. So now I need a colour reading for people born in the month of November to see what will happen for them in August 2025. What will happen for people born in the month of November in August 2025? Right, we begin with white on green. We go to cyan on white, followed by purple on brown. And the underlying, so it's only one, yes, is white on brown. Very well, November people. The first thing we notice is that white appears multiple times. We have it 3 times in this reading. Once in the past as the action, once in the present as the underlying energy, and also as the action for the month's underlying energy. As well as that, we have a repetition of brown. Brown occurs as the need or drive for the future, but it also occurs as the need or drive for the underlying energy. Colours appearing multiple times in a reading means that there is something important to be learned from what they signify. So let's get into it. When we have brown as the underlying energy, it means there is a need or a drive for some sort of wish fulfillment. There is an ambition here. There are skills that are in place, ready to create something in the world that is long-lasting. There is a steadfastness that is required. But in the real world, what is happening here is that that energy is being dissipated into all sorts of different directions. You don't know how to stabilize those goals that you have internally in order to create for yourself the sort of outcomes that you want. You do something and it goes off in a different direction. You do something else and it goes off in another direction. You fail to do something and suddenly it comes in the direction that you want it to go. So there is a conundrum here inherent within this combination about what it is that you want and how you can go about achieving it. In terms of the tarot, white on brown is the Nine of Pentacles. This is the ability to become a self-satisfied person. But you need to know what those satisfactions are that you desire before you can put them in the real world. And in fact, once you do so, once you have got yourself stabilized and organized, then in the real world, you can dissipate that energy at your will rather than be dissipating that energy in any direction that it wants to go itself. So you can be in control of it. Now, in the past, what has happened here is that same expansive energy that's headed in all directions has been occurring wildly. But it's driven not by ambition and desire and the need for some sort of stability within your life. It's been driven by the desire for something new. When green occurs in the internal world, it means that we are looking for a new start, a new beginning. And once again, the white and green have a resonance with the tarot card. In this case, it happens to be the card called Death. In the past, you have wanted things to be different, to escape from what was, to create new goals. That's what this is about. But this is also to look for new pastures, to recreate something new out of what was in the past. You're prepared to let the past go. When we put that underlying energy into this past, what we have here is a double dose of the white in the real world, a double dose of energy being dissipated in all sorts of directions. You have not had much control over where your energy has gone. Everything you wanted to do has just happened or has headed off in a direction that you didn't want it to go. You haven't been able to stipulate just where you want your energy to end up. And in the internal world, you've had brown and green. Green is all about values. Brown is all about ambitions. What is it that you really want that in the real world is able to be created? And in fact, manifestation's been pretty easy for you, really. It's just that it's not necessarily the manifestations of what you actually set out to manifest. The brown internally is asking you to set your goals, to learn the skills that are necessary and to move forward with them steadfastly. Green, on the other hand, is the desire to just simply get away from what is, and it doesn't really matter where you are headed. It's a new life and you don't care which life it is that you're going to traverse. You just want to get away. So these two are in fact at odds. Death and the Nine of Pentacles are not compatible with one another in terms of the colour reading. Where has that led you now? Well, right now in the real world, you've had a flash of inspiration, or else you've been dealt a dose of reality. Either way, there's been a massive enlightenment internally. You found yourself having to wake up to some reality, but also you found some inspiration. And in the real world, you've discovered that, hey, I can do certain things. That cyan in the real world has enabled you to find a sort of peace and quiet and bliss and happiness and the thrill of being able to say that, yes, everything that you wanted has transpired. So in effect, the goals that you've been setting yourself down here as the underlying energy have borne the sort of fruit that you are looking for. No longer dissipated in every direction, You've suddenly found internally that inspiration that leads you exactly where you need to be. Now, interestingly, if we look at these two combinations together, by enlightening the cyan, by adding the white to the cyan, we're actually making it more difficult for you to attain that bliss, that harmony, that stability that you are looking for. By adding the white to the brown, you're also making it harder for yourself to find the sorts of goals that you need in order to attain that bliss, that harmony. So while this right now might seem as though things are going really well your way, it's been a fairly hard slog to get there. So where does that take us in the future? Well, here, the brown, the need to create some sort of goal setting, some sort of stability within your life, some sort of ability to create something permanent still remains. But in the real world, you've had to face the fact that sometimes the things that you were looking for back here, the things that you thought you found, now have to come crashing down in order for you to realize that what you are searching for is not necessarily what you need for yourself. Purple and white, when we put those two together, give us the absolute need for the sort of healing that can only come from spiritual enlightenment. The brown, as a double dose, as a driver, means that you are looking for something, but in the real world, are you in fact finding it? The more you try and stabilize your goals to create them into something solid and verifiable in the real world, the more difficult it is for you to attain the sort of spiritual awakening that comes from adding the white to the purple. So what can we do about this? Let's look at the colors that are missing. There is no black, but you do have white. There's no red. There is no yellow. There is green. No blue. You do have brown. There is no orange. There is no grey. You do have purple. There is no pink, but you do have cyan. So what we have here are the colours of the skills that you are currently using throughout the month of August. They're very useful because they're getting you through the month, but they also are hindering your progress. What is missing are these colours here. And these colours represent the skills and attributes that, if you enter them into your life here, will impinge upon your underlying energy to the extent that you will end up somewhere different than simply finding that your goals and ambitions are constantly being dragged back down again, are constantly being thwarted. So what do they mean? Well, the black is about the ability to withdraw inside yourself and connect with your own spiritual self. The red is about taking your power, taking your energy and putting it into some sort of good use. Yellow is about learning and digesting information. Blue is about organizing your life, knowing where, what, and how things have to be. Orange is about being able to create the sort of environment in which you can demonstrate that you can survive whatever calamity comes your way. Grey is about dealing with uncertainty and confusion, but also seeking after some sort of truth. And pink is about love and vulnerability. Do you have the wherewithal to accept yourself as you are, or are you constantly expecting others to do for you without you necessarily putting any effort into yourself? Take from these colours that are missing the one that's most appealing and the one that's least appealing, and add them to your life in the next month. And you'll find that they will fill this void that you have here in your underlying energy. They will also impinge upon the sort of activities that lead you towards your goals and your ambitions. And somehow or other, you'll end up here with goals that are fulfilled and, in fact, allow you to grow into something that gives you both power and also the ability to create stability within your life. Let's have a look at what the Oracle has to say on this subject. What we have here is open to the universe. Discover your worth and your abilities. Have confidence in your value and your potential. Reclaim your inner power. Accept and love yourself completely. Become open to the divine light of the universe. The divine light of the universe is what this represents. And it's in your past and it's in the present now. It will transform into spirituality, but only if the choices that you make for what you want to achieve are in fact the sorts of choices that lead you to a spiritual enlightenment rather than to a destruction of whatever you have created in the real world. Interesting. Well, it seems like August is going to be a very interesting month, don't you think? I hope you've received something out of it, out of these readings that have been of benefit to you. And I hope you'll be back for the next one in September. In the meantime, please do consider using some of the colours that are missing and enter them into your life, because when you do, you find things do move in a different direction to the ones that are normally signed off as being inevitable in the readings. Remember, it's all about your choices. I certainly hope to see you again, and may your life be filled with lots of colour. And until next time, may the colours that you do bring into your life bring you the sorts of things that you desire and deserve.